Maximilian was born, his name was Francis, and he was born in Poland in 1894 from a very poor family. And from a very young age, he manifested great faith and great devotion to Our Lady. At the age of 16, he entered the Franciscan order. He entered the novitiate. And 8 years later, at the age of 24, he was ordained priest. We could define him as an intellectual sort of person. He attained 2 doctorates in philosophy and theology, but he also was greatly passionate by science. And some of his biographies tell us that he also drew up plans for a rocket ship. You don't find many, I don't think, priests that do that. One of the things that Maximilian saw wrong with our society was indifference towards religion. Not hate towards religion, and neither love for our Saviour, for His Blessed Mother, for the redemption brought to us by God. No, just indifference. And he set about countering this indifference with a new evangelization under the patronage of Mary Immaculate. He founded cities of the Immaculate where people could live together, and one of them housed 700 of his Franciscan brothers. He founded one in Poland and one in Japan, in Nagasaki. And he founded the Militia of the Immaculate, a religious community, not a religious order, but a religious association of people from every walk of life who committed themselves to the new evangelization of our world, that more and more people may come to know the love of Christ and the love of Our Lady. He also used the printing press to spread the gospel, to spread religion. But all this came to an abrupt end when Poland was invaded by Germany. The Nazi regime shut down non-compliant press. The town where his city of the Immaculate in Poland was built was heavily bombed. And Maximilian, along with other Franciscan brothers, was arrested a couple of times. His final arrest was in 1941, and he was taken to the concentration camp of Auschwitz. In Auschwitz, the people who survived the horrors remember him as a saintly figure, somebody that managed to brought the faith of Christ even under those horrible and unimaginable circumstances. In the same year, 1941, a prisoner escaped the concentration camp, and the guards, in retaliation, decided to kill 10 men. The men were selected at random, and Maximilian wasn't one of them. However, one of the 10 men was a father with quite a few children and a wife at home. So Maximilian stepped forward and said to the commanding officer that he wanted to take the man's place. He offered himself in place of his fellow detainee. The commanding officer said, "Well, who are you?" And Maximilian simply said, I'm a priest. And the commanding officer agreed. Maximilian, along with the 9 others, was thrown into the death block and condemned to die of starvation. This was at the beginning of August 1941. On the 14th of August, today, Maximilian was one of the very few still left alive, and he received a lethal injection in his cell. He died on the 14th of August, which is the eve of the great feast of Our Lady, which is the Feast of the Assumption, the solemnity of the Assumption of Our Lady. Maximilian shows us with his life, with his ministry, and also with his death, a Christian life that follows the teaching of Jesus. No one has greater love than this, than to lay down one's life for one's friends. He did that by living his life to spread the gospel of Christ so that others may be saved, and he died to save someone.